Hi, welcome to Ellibelle Yoga with Janice. Thank you for joining me. Today's practice is all about self-love or Aroha. So it's really important that we start putting positivity in towards ourselves, not just out towards everybody else in the world. Those negative thoughts that we have can have a real impact on our health, both physical and mental. So today's practice is all about looking after ourselves, building some confidence, and really just giving ourselves a mental and physical hug. We're going to begin in Tadasana, so standing with your feet hip width apart, standing tall, palms facing forwards, and we're going to roll the shoulders up, back and down. Then we're going to lengthen through the spine, so remember that action of lifting the crown towards the sky and tucking the chin very slightly, so not looking down, but tucking the chin. And that you feel that lengthening happening through the back of the neck there. Now also while we're here, we don't just want to let the legs relax too much. We want to engage through the thighs, drawing that energy up from the ground, from the earth. Letting that energy circulate up through the body and back round. While we're here, I'd also like you to practice something called Ujjayi breath. Now, if you haven't done this before, it's easy, but it takes a bit of practice getting used to how to do it. So Ujjayi breath is when we control the speed that we are breathing in. So we use sort of the area at the back of the nose and the throat where you sort of make that humming noise from, or if you're trying to stop yourself from breathing or smelling. And we make a sound. It's almost like the ocean or the wind. So just have a practice. And if you really get stuck, actually hum. If there's nobody else around, don't worry. And you'll end up finding that area that you need to use. And then you just hear a nice gentle noise begin. You can come back to this breath at any point during the practice. It's a really good way of monitoring how well you're controlling your breath. And it actually really helps to slow your breath down. We're going to work through a couple of sun salutations or Surya Namaskar. So inhale the arms up, stretching tall, small back bend if that feels good for you today. Exhale, palms face down, and we swan dive into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Now we're going to remain here a little bit longer than normal. And what I would like you to do is give your knees quite a generous bend. And then I would like you to catch a hold of your opposite elbows. So firstly, this is great. It's almost like giving yourself a little hug. But secondly, it really helps you just take any support out of the upper body, because we want it to completely hang here. We're not holding the head up. Completely relaxing the upper body down. And as you're here, try and take your breath into your back and sides instead of breathing into the tummy, because we're actually squashing that here. And the more you can take it into your back, the more you're going to feel a wonderful decompression through the spine. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable to start with, but it does gently release. On your next inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold, plant the hands, step back into your high plank. Inhale, and as you exhale, drop the knees and lower towards the ground. Point the toes. Inhale, up for cobra. Exhale, down. Tuck the toes. As you inhale, either come back up onto the knees or your high plank. And as you exhale, downward dog. You might want to pedal the legs out for your first downward dog today. And once you're ready, come to settle, lifting your tailbone, drawing the chest through to the thighs. Bend the knees and slowly walk the feet forwards towards the hands at the top of your mat and remain in Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And as you inhale, sweep the arms up, bending the knees, reaching tall, maybe with that back bend again. And exhale, the hands to heart center. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, fold. Bend those knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, either drop the knees or you can begin to lower to the ground. Pointing the toes, inhale to cobra, keep the elbows in, exhale down, inhale back up onto the knees or your high plank, and exhale back into downward dog. Just repositioning to find that optimum positioning for you. We're going to step the right foot through. So you can either drop the knees to the floor and then bring that knee round, or you can attempt to do a step through all the way. So we squeeze the knee in and then we step it forwards. Now you might get stuck, absolutely doesn't matter. Lift the foot up, move it where you need it, okay? Once your foot is in position between the front hands, plant your back foot, and we're going to come up into warrior two. So the back foot can either be parallel with the small edge of your mat, or you might have it at a 45-degree angle with the toes closer to the front of your mat. Bend into the front knee, keeping the arms at shoulder height. And the main thing with warrior, just keep an eye on that knee that it's not dropping inwards. It should be tracking over your toes. Find your strength here. And we really want to make sure that our head, shoulders, hips are all stacked. So we're not leaning in any direction at all. Well done. On your next inhale, we're going to sweep back into dancing warrior. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the forearm to the thigh and reach across. Inhale back into dancing warrior. Exhale, forearm to thigh. Dancing warrior. And this time when we exhale, we're going to windmill, hands round to the floor, and step back into downward dog. Okay, we're going to take the left foot forward this time. So remember, find your own way of doing this. You normally find you're a bit stronger one side doing this than the other. Then plant that back foot. And when you're ready, up into warrior two. So we really need to be pushing down through the outside edge of that back foot. We're bending through the front knee, so don't worry too much about how far down you can go. That will come with time. But the main thing is that you're not letting your knee drop inwards. You need to keep it trucking over the foot, over the ankle. Upper body is all stacked. Find your power and strength here. On your next inhale, dancing warrior, so we sweep back. And as we exhale, we bring the forearm to the thigh and reach across. Inhale, dancing warrior. Exhale. Dancing warrior. And this time, as we exhale, windmill the hands down to the floor, step back into downward dog, or if you really need a break, you can come down as Balasana, child's pose. Inhale, the right leg up. Three-legged dog, keep your hips in line, don't let them twist. And as you exhale, bring the knee through to just behind the right wrist. Then we're going to slide the left leg out. Now you can completely use cushions or blocks, books, anything you like, folded blankets to help support you in this pigeon variation. We don't want to let the bottom slip down onto the floor here. We're staying up, keeping the hips level. And we inhale, lengthen through the spine. Now you might just be comfortable staying here. Or you might be able to exhale your way down onto elbows. You might even be able to bring yourself even lower, resting the head on the hands. Listen to your body, give it the love and attention that it deserves. On your next inhale, bring yourself up. Nice and strong with the palms of the hands. Tuck that left toe. And we're going to try and go straight back into a downward dog. Okay, so you might just need to reposition your feet. Well done. Now you know what's coming, over onto the other side. So lift the left leg. And as you exhale, draw forwards, bring the knee to the left wrist. Slide the right foot out behind you. Inhale, lengthen. And if you're feeling like this is as far as you can go, that's absolutely fine. Otherwise, as you exhale, you might begin to lower yourself down onto your elbows or resting the head down onto the hands. Just do what works for you, do what feels good, while still challenging yourself, but it shouldn't be painful. It may be uncomfortable. Pigeon is not the most comfortable of poses. But this is where that self-love comes in. Sometimes we're in difficult, uncomfortable situations, but we can deal with them. As long as we use the correct tools and we practice. Well done. Just inhale up onto the palms if you're not already there. And instead of coming back to downward dog, what we're going to do is come back onto all fours or tabletop. Bring the toes together, open the knees, and sit back into Balasana. So the heels are close to the bottom. They don't need to be touching, but the bottom is drawing down towards the heels. And then walk your fingers away. And let your head gently come down to the ground. And please remember, if the head doesn't find the ground, use some props, folded blanket or a cushion, and bring the ground to you. And once you're here, decide what you want to do with your upper body. See what your body needs. You might come back to your Ujjayi breath here, making that gentle, steady sound. It'll sound even better in Balasana because our face is down towards the floor. Well done. On your next inhale, slowly walk the hands back in. Well done. Okay, bring yourself down onto the mat. Now, if you're close to a wall, you can use the wall because we're going to do an asana called legs up the wall. I actually prefer to do it away from the wall, and I just tend to use a block or a cushion underneath my tailbone and bottom. So you still can use the prop if you're near the wall, but you don't have to. Just see how you go. So laying yourself down, keeping the knees bent to start with. What I'm going to do is just lift my hips and slide my prop in there. Now the idea of the prop is it's going to help you get your legs at an angle where you almost don't even need to hold them up anymore. So just resting the hands down to the ground. We're going to hug the knees in. And then we're going to take them up. And we want to push up with the heels. Now if you find like your prop's not quite in the right position, you can just wiggle it around a little bit there. And we're going to push up with the heels, pull down with the toes. And try and get to a point where we're not really having to hold the legs in position. They're almost hanging in space. It's a really lovely asana or pose to get your blood circulating. If you find that your feet tend to get a little bit swollen or puffy towards the end of the day, or even just achy from your shoes maybe or walking around, this is a really nice break for them. You might find that your feet tingle a little bit. That's just as that blood is draining away. exhale, the feet back down to the floor. Just being careful with your lower back area. Lift the hips and move your prop if you were using one. And we're going to come down, preparing for Shavasana. So taking the legs out, feet apart, let them drop out to the sides. Wiggle your shoulder blades down and away from the ears. And before we settle down for Shavasana, we're going to give ourselves a nice big hug. I know it sounds a little bit silly and you might even be a bit embarrassed. It's a really good way of physically sending ourselves some love. So just wrap your arms around each other, maybe resting the hands on the shoulders. And when you're ready, release the arms down to the ground, palms facing up. Begin to reflect on your practice today. Thinking about the love and attention you've given your body. Thinking about the struggles or challenges you might have encountered. You kept pushing through, you found your own way. You spoke to yourself positively and encouraged yourself to keep going. Feel that loving energy flowing through your body. And if any thoughts happen to pop into your mind, just acknowledge them. And then draw a loving heart-shaped bubble around them and watch them float away to be dealt with later. It's perfectly normal for thoughts to enter your mind. And what we want to focus on is just bringing our attention back to ourselves, back to our practice. We can deal with those thoughts later on. If you would like to remain in Shavasana for a while longer, please do. However, if you're ready to finish and close your practice today, just bring some small movements back into your hands and feet. You might even take a full body stretch, reawakening the spine. And when you're ready, rolling over onto your side and just resting there for a moment. And in your own time, coming up to a seated position. Back into easy pose, cross-legged. Bring the hands to heart center. And just take one more moment to send those loving, warm wishes inwards. And you can come back to this feeling at any point throughout your day. We're going to take a final cleansing breath together. So deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take a bow. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Please share with anyone you think might benefit or enjoy our yoga practices. I would love to have them join the group or the channel on YouTube. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.